Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. Today I'm going to share with you all about how information systems have affected everyday life in chapter 4, part 4.4. So, we're going to look two issues how information systems have affected everyday life. Let's go. The first issue is accountability, liability and control issues, and the second one is quality of life, equity, access and boundaries issues. We look to our first point, is accountability, liability and control issues. The accountability and liability synonym with the responsibility. So, what's the issues about responsibility toward information system? They have three. We look one by one. The first one is IT can challenge our ability to identify who is responsible for actions involving systems that injure people. The second is IT can make it difficult to assign liability and restore injured person. The third is IT raises issues about who should control information systems that have the potential for injuring citizens. For an example is ChoicePoint.com. ChoicePoint.com lost personal records. This loss may result in the victims losing credit, being denied an apartment, and losing employment or experiencing an identity theft. The question is, how can this happen? The answer is about the data quality and system error. We look one by one. No software programs is perfect. Errors will be made, even if the errors have a low probability of occurring. Same goes to the database. No database is without errors. They have three principal sources of poor system performance. Number one is software bugs and errors. Second is hardware or facility failures. The third is poor input data quality. So users must be aware of potential catastrophe. Now, let's move on to the last point. Quality of life issues. They have an eight of quality life issues. Number one is balancing power. Number two, rapidity of change. Number three, maintaining boundaries. Number four, dependence and vulnerability. Number five, computer crime and abuse. Number six, employment. Number seven, equity and access. Number 8, health and risk. For the first point is balancing power, center versus periphery. Is information technology centralizing decision-making power in the hands of a few, or is it allowing many more people to participate in decisions that affect their life? So, what do you think and what do you see? Let's move on to number 2. Rapidity of change reduce response time to competitions. In this point, tell us that the ugly side of time-based competition is firms might not have enough time to respond to global competitors and maybe wipe out in a year. So, it is mean the business you work for may not be able to respond to rapidly changing information technology. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Maintaining boundaries, family, work, and leisure. It is because the explosive growth of smartphones have impacted the sense of many employees that they are never get away from their work. So, it can lead and takes people away from their family and friends. Let's moving on to number 4. Dependence and vulnerability. Today, our business, governments, schools, and also private associations such as church are incredibly dependent on information systems. But it is highly vulnerable if these systems are failed. For an example, for schools. Schools now are increasingly using it and rely on educational software. Let's say Test results are often stored off campus, right? But if this system were to shut down, there is no backup educational structure or content that can make up for the loss of the system. Let's moving on to the number 5, computer crime and abuse. New technologies can create new opportunities for committing crime. By creating new valuable items to steal, new ways to steal them, and new ways to harm others. Computer crime and computer abuse is two different things. Computer crime is the commission of illegal acts by using a computer or against a computer system. For example, accessing a computer system without authorization. While computer abuse is the commission of acts involving a computer that may not be illegal but are considered unethical, such as spam. Next, number 6, employment, trickle-down technology and re-engineering job loss. In this point, tell us that the rapid development of the internet has made it possible to offshore hundreds of thousands of jobs from high-wage countries to low-wage countries. Re-engineering existing jobs using information technology also results in few jobs generally. While this benefits low-wage countries enormously, the costs are paid by high-wage country workers. Let's moving on to the number 7, equity and access, increasing racial and social class cleavages. Equity and access can cause a digital divide. Digital divide is a term that refers to the gap between demographics and regions that have access to modern information and communication technology, and those that don't or have restricted access. This technology can include the telephone, television, personal computers, and the internet. There are other factors that contribute, which including the cost of technology, access for the disabled, lack of skills, lack of education, lack of information, and lower performance computers. Okay, now let's see our last point. Health risks. Information technology has been the source of several diseases. They have 4 of them. The first one is RSI, the second is CTS, the third is CVS, and the last one is technostress. We go one by one. We start first with the repetitive stress injury, RSI. RSI is occupational disease. It is caused from muscle groups are forced through repetitive action with high impact loads, or thousands of repetitions with low impact loads. And the second is carpal tunnel syndrome, CTS. CTS is one of the type of RSI. It is caused by a pressure on the median nerve through the wrist bony carpal tunnel structure produces pain. Third, CVS, computer vision syndrome. It is an eye strain condition. It's also related to computer display screen usage. The symptoms include headache, blurred vision, and dry and irritated eyes. The last point is technostress. This stress is induced by computer use. They have symptoms include aggravations, hostility toward humans, impatience, and innovation. Okay, that's all from me. If you think this video helps you, don't forget to give me subscribe and like. Thank you for watching, guys. See you on the next video. Bye bye.